beauty. Some things are universally accepted as being beautiful. Others, like motorcycles for example, well, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. The 2020 Indian Scout Bobber 20 is such a motorcycle. To some people, it looks a little odd. The combination of chromed exhaust heat covers but a matte black silencer aren't to everyone's tastes. Neither is the burnished metallic paintwork on this particular bike. But exhausts are easily changed, and for me, this burnished metallic paint is sublime. It's one of those colours that changes depending on the ambient light, and in full sunshine, it absolutely pops. Shame then that on my first ride of this bike, it was a cold, windy and overcast January day in the British Midlands. You're watching Dazzle Rebel Rides, and this is my first ride on the Indian Scout Bobber 20. So today I'm out on the 2020 Indian Scout Bobber 20. And of course I'm riding an Indian, so I've got a smile on my face, even though the wind is ridiculously cold, but it's nice and calm. And then all of a sudden you get a gust of wind in your face that's about -10. Ooh. So you're watching this on the second week in February, but as I record this is January the 11th, 2020. And this is my first ride on the Indian Scout Bobber 20. And you know what? I love the Scout Bobber. Hello, mate. I love the Indian Scout Bobber. I love the Indian Scout. And I'll tell you what, I am in love already with the Scout Bobber 20. For those of you interested in the specifications, well, there's 101 other videos that give you that kind of geeky material. Or simply visit the Indian Motorcycle website. If you've followed this channel for a while, then you'll know that when it comes to first riding impressions, then I'm more about how the bike makes me feel rather than the fact the engine produces 94 horses. So how did this bike make me feel? Well, I am a huge fan of the Indian Scout, and I love the Indian Scout Bobber. For me, adding mini apes, spoke wheels and the 1920s solo seat is an inspired move by Indian, as these are the mods that have already been popular with Scout Bobber owners. I've not really ever been a fan of apes, but these mini apes on here are actually really quite comfortable. And the tractor style seat, you know, when you first sit on it, there's not a lot of padding there. You know, it doesn't feel necessarily comfortable. Not everybody thinks it feels comfortable. A lot of people think it feels like you're sitting on a plank of wood. But I'll be honest, I've been riding this for about an hour and I absolutely love it. I actually prefer this to the standard bobber seat. Another thing I like is because you've got the apes here, when you undersling the mirrors, you can actually see stuff behind you. Whereas on the standard bobber, if you have these in that position, not only you're a bit stretched forward to reach the bars, but they're a lot lower down and you do struggle seeing stuff in the rear view mirrors, which is why a lot of people flip them up the other way. One thing that does take some getting used to though, because I'm a vain bastard, is you can't see your own face in the mirror at all. You have to crouch down quite a way, in which case it's not ideal, but you know, it's less mirrors I'll be cracking with my smile. In all seriousness though, the reason I like to see my own face in the mirror is just to double check that the light on my drift is flashing red and hasn't turned green or just turned off completely, and I am still recording. Otherwise I have to wait till I'm stopped like that, yeah, to look down and double check. But that's just a minor thing, very minor thing. I could live with that. And of course if you don't do motovlogging, it's not really much of a problem. So let's talk about comfort. Well, I much prefer the riding position to this than the standard Scout Bobber. I'm much more comfy. I've been riding for about an hour and yeah, this is definitely more me. So let's talk about all the stuff that people normally talk about when it comes to the reviews. Power, yes, it's got power, it's got lots of power, it's 94 horsepower, it's got exactly the same engine as the Indian Scout and Indian Scout Bobber, plenty of torque, lots of fun, loads of character, 10 out of 10. Chassis, okay,
chassis, handling, whatever you want to call it. Handles like a dream. This is a cruiser, but I tell you what, everybody who rides one who is used to what big cruisers handle like is surprised when they jump on an Indian Scout for the first time, no matter which version it is. They handle amazingly. The only thing to note with the Scout Bobber and the Scout Bobber 20 is it is slammed compared to the Scout, so you have less suspension travel in the front and rear, meaning the shocks are stiffer, so you do feel more bumps in the road. Got a noisy fan belt, mate. Thank you for enjoying the bike, but you do have a noisy fan belt. I'd get that looked at. Everybody's stopping to look at the bike. That is a good thing. That is a very good thing, isn't it?
Riding any Scout puts a big smile on my face, but there's something about the 20 that makes it feel even more special. It's like I've already made this bike my own, but without having to break out the accessories catalogue. The only thing I would change at this stage would be to add a side-mounted number plate and a noisy chrome exhaust. Probably a Vance & Hines Grenades full system.
Right, I've been out for 2 hours now, and I am admittedly getting rather cold, so I think it's time to start heading back. So, in conclusion, would I buy an Indian Scout Bobber 20? Well, yes I would. If I could afford one, I'll be 100% honest with you. Right now, this is the bike at the top of my list as far as the Indian Motorcycle 2020 range goes. I absolutely love this bike. I love the way it feels, I like the way it goes, the way it handles. I absolutely love the way it looks. You know what, I really want to get some more time with this bike in nicer weather. When it's nice and sunny, I want to get a bit better acquainted with it because I absolutely love it. Absolutely adore this machine.
For me, I feel differently about owning a motorcycle than I do owning a car. For me, a car is about transport from A to B and in as much comfort as possible. A bike, well, a bike for me is a bit like that peacock at the start of the video. It's about showing off my plumage and looking good. For me to own a motorcycle, it's got to look pretty. It's as much about opening up the garage and admiring your pride and joy as it is the riding experience. If I don't glance back and admire my machine at least once after I've parked it up, then it ain't worth owning. The joy of the Bobber 20 is that not only does it look fantastic, it also rides damn good too.